Hello, welcome to another episode of Clutch Trick Gaming. I just found the new barn find for today. It's January 3rd, and went and played some playground games. And as I got out of a playground game, this is finished being restored. It only took about 10 or 15 minutes of playtime. And it is a classic Volvo
1800E.
So let's listen to this obnoxious guy talk about it.
130 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in 9.6 seconds.
Oh wow,
and
that's
it's the
excruciatingly
car
slow.
Roger Moore drove in the Saint. Yep, you heard that right.
Roger Moore drove this car in the Saint. So that means a guy that I've never heard of drove this car in a game. I'm sorry. I assume maybe it was a movie called The Saint. And I never watched that either. So this is it. This is the new barn find. Don't know how they come up with these cars. Certainly when I'm driving around country back roads, looking in old barns and looking in old fields, something like this is not what I've got in my mind, hoping to find. But anyway, let's take it. So what would I do with this car if I owned it in real life? Besides the obvious, which would probably be to sell it and use the money to buy something cool, I'm going to go and, of course, I'm going to engine swap it with the biggest, baddest engine I can possibly get, which is devastatingly a 3.2 liter straight six engine. I'm also probably not going to convert to all-wheel drive, but maybe in this case we will. You know what? I'm not going to convert this to all-wheel drive. I would do that for a car that I would actually want to play around and use for playground games or races or something. I'm not going to do that with this car. It's just too hideous. So, being an ugly car, how about we go for a drift build? We'll leave it two-wheel drive. We're going to turbocharge it, single turbo in this case. Now let's just max out everything we can here. See where we get with our total max horsepower out of our big whopping 3.2 or whatever this thing is. Alright, so let's buy and install this. We're going to be dropping the car not quite 300 pounds, but almost, and going from a whopping 130 horsepower to a 761. That should make this car really fun. We barely pick up on the lateral G's, just a couple of tenths there. But we go from a D class to an S1 class. That's not too bad. So we're going to go ahead and buy this. And I've got to paint this car. I can't stand the color. Also, we're just going to slime it to the ground. So let's get out of here. Not really concerned about putting a lot of decals or livery on it. Just have to get this hideous color off of it. Now, is black good for this car? Maybe. Or maybe we go something just a little bit unique. Wow, look at the profile of this thing. You've got the rear of the quarter panels behind the back wheel. Just looks so tall, like from top to bottom. It's nice and thick and meaty. Then you look at the front, and there's like nothing there. If it didn't have that air dam at the bottom, the chin spoiler, it would look like there's just nothing. Like it's half as thick as the back of the car. So the car's got some nice elements to it, but overall the package is just kind of kind of not cool. Like this angle right here, kind of looks cool. But this front, my word, someone just needs to just knock the whole front end of this car off of it. Anyway, back to so here's our factory colors. That's what you may have seen this car roll around. Hey, I kind of like the gold, the yellow. No, absolute. Gosh, some of these colors they look hideous, but you put them on a car and you put some big wheels on it and you drop it down, they actually kind of look cool. Do we want to go with that? You know what? Let's take this, even though I hate it, and we are going in just a moment to go over to our decals and designs, and we're going to put some work into this paint job just to change the color. Not really to make a livery, but just to change the color up on it some. So what do we do with these wheels? We go that route? Yeah. And windows, of course, if you're driving this thing, you want the windows tinted as black as possible. So let's get out of here. When I like to get a different color that other people don't have, I'll go and pick a rectangle like this and cover up the entire side of the car with it. Takes a little bit of time sometimes. And now I will change the color of that decal just to something random. Hey, maybe something like this. And then go to transparency and start playing with the transparency some. See where that brings us. So I can run that down. I've taken out a lot of the actual color of that decal. In fact, a little too much. Add a little bit more. I'm there just below 50. Let's make it even. That's as close to 50%, I think, as I can get. 50%. And so that gives me kind of a transparent fluorescent green color over the top of this other kind of seafoam green. And you can see here the difference that it makes. Now I'm going to cut this decal and I'm going to repaste it. I'm going to go to the top and I'm going to paste it. Then I'm going to the left and paste, front bumper paste, and rear and paste. And now I have effectively painted the car. On the rear spring, I'm going to run it all the way up. Wow, this thing has some really high spring pressures, looks like. Ride height, my favorite one. Let's go all the way to the ground with this. Dampening, let's make the rear stiff as it'll go. I really don't plan to drift this thing a whole bunch, just kind of screwing around here. Front air dam, I'm not going to do much with this, but let's just run it all the way up and see what happens. And differential, let's lock that sucker up. I think I'm going to loosen up the deceleration, see if it'll help me straighten out when I get off the throttle. So here we go. And it's raining, of course. What is it about this car? So here we go. Can't remember what it's called. It's a Volvo. And it's slippery. I better stop and change this to manual transmissiones. Stability control off, automatic. So this is just a quick and dirty drift tune. And works great at hitting walls. Let's fast travel to the parking lot. Where's it at? I think it's right there. More rain. I myself have not been drifting on here much lately. I've been doing a lot of playground games and such. So my drift skills right now are definitely not awake. But I think this car's got potential. It's definitely got enough power that I'm able to get it to spin just with throttle right here. And maybe it's the rain, but it seems like the car wants to just wrap all the way around a little too easy before it wants to get out and kick out into a nice sweet spot. It just wants to go from nothing to all the way around. So maybe I need to work on the tune some. You actually saw every bit of the tune in the amount of time I spent there, just a few minutes running stuff around. Maybe I would like a different tire, I'm not sure. I'm having to be very easy with this throttle. So there you go, that's the new Volvo barn find in all of its glory, all of its bumperless glory. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and I also hope that you will subscribe to the channel. Be here while we grow. We're going to continue. This is brand new, and we're going to bring in some other games in the near future. The channel is going to stay focused just on car and racing games, and we're going to bring in some real car stuff every now and then, but not just yet. So stay tuned.